Okay, on both sides. Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to caution you right now to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck, Minnesota. Touch him up.
This episode of the podcast is being recorded on Monday, May 20th, 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Have Fun on the Indys. Welcome back to Have Fun on the Indys. Keep loving Have Fun on the Indys. You can catch us on Twitter. You can catch us on Instagram. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us in your mom's pants. Sorry, I love beer. All you have to do to catch us at all these sites is use the handle @HaveFunOTI, @HaveFunOTI. There, you'll find all the links to our glorious podcast, where you can catch it on YouTube, Vimeo, and SoundCloud. Watch us, listen to us, enjoy us, and ladies and gentlemen, now that garbage is out of the way, come right in, open that door, and make yourselves at home. Because we gotta talk. And we're gonna start things off as usual with some good old professional wrestling. Cause holy crap, have things been happening. So we're gonna start light. We're gonna start light with this stuff. Because you have to understand, there's probably gonna be a lot of shit talking about the WWE on this one. And everybody knows by now, episode whatever the fuck this is, that I'm a through and through WWE guy. But lately, things have been going bananas. So, we're going to start light, and even though it's going to hurt me, we're going to have to criticize the WWE a little bit. But here we go. First piece of news that I clicked on was Undertaker versus Goldberg, for the first time ever, will be wrestling each other at WWE Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. Now, I think this is the second time that WWE has gone to Saudi Arabia for that WWE Super Showdown. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. They are hyping this thing up to be so big that I saw a commercial during Money in the Bank that called WWE Super Showdown as big or bigger than WrestleMania. Which is insane to even let somebody use that moniker. However, when you hear the rumors of these giant paychecks that these Saudi guys are putting up, I can't blame Vince. I can't blame any of them. I can't blame anybody from coming back from retirement to take those giant fucking checks. It is what it is. But back to the Undertaker versus Goldberg thing. As soon as that was announced, all over the internet, all over the forums, people are shitting on it. And I understand. I completely fucking understand. Look, I understand people are saying pass. And the wrestling fans apparently are digging it. And I can kind of guess why. I mean, The Undertaker is by far not only a legend because of his gimmick and the angles that he made. He's made angles so memorable. His gimmick has been so memorable. Since the 90s, it's been going. He is 100% one of the best wrestlers in ring I've seen. And he wasn't even one of my favorites. Here's the thing. Taker has been in the professional wrestling business for decades. Not only has Father Time caught up with him, but Father, I beat the shit out of my body for years on end, has caught up with him. He has injuries. He can carry almost anyone, but at this point in his career, he needs decent dance partners. It's just what it is. There comes a certain time when you can't perform like the way you did years and years ago during your, prime. He needs partners that will help in the actual in-ring department. Not because he can't do it, not because he doesn't know how to do it, not because he's not good at it, but because he's not the same Taker anymore. And that's just the way it goes. So now, let's get to Bill Goldberg. Goldberg is a weird puzzle because he has that intensity to where as soon as he walks through the curtain, people pay attention. He's very Ultimate Warrior-esque in that fashion. Hell, the first couple minutes, people will pay attention in the ring just because of his entrance. But historically, he's not good in full-blown, long-ass matches. He had a match with Brock Lesnar, I think at WrestleMania 20 it was. It stank the place up. Then I know he had a feud with Triple H at one point, and the matches were not what people were expecting them to be. The angles were better than the matches, and the angles consisted of Triple H trying to outbench him and having workout contests. So, that tells you something. The question is, does WWE know this info? I guarantee they do, and I'm thinking this will be a quick match. And people are saying, if WWE knows this info about The Undertaker and Bill Goldberg, why would they put them together in a match knowing that nobody's going to like it? Well, quite frankly, they're probably getting paid a shitload of money for them to put on this match. WWE is not stupid. They know what works. They know what doesn't. And I'm assuming if they go the quick route, it has potential. Have a quick little intense face-off the first couple minutes, and then have some sort of angle happen or have it end. I don't know. But if it's fast, it's going to be real good. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to be watching WWE Super Showdown. They are hyping the crap out of this, and I get it. It's so much money on the line. It's ridiculous. With that being said, we go on to the next topic. And here's the problem with this topic. It hurts my soul. It hurts my soul because I love the WWE. And most importantly, I love Vince McMahon. But holy shit, are the rumors flying left, right, diagonal, up, down, that Vince is fucking losing it. That's what everybody is saying. And to put more gas on the fire, so to speak, I found this article on WrestlingInc.com by Mark Middleton. And it's not necessarily an article. It's him summarizing a bunch of information that came out recently. Well, by recently, I mean like a week or so ago. About all kinds of backstage shit going on. Now, first thing off the bat, I will say that this is all speculation. Could be false as fuck. I repeat, it's all speculation in this article. So what happened was, apparently, a caller called into Wade Keller's Pro Wrestling post-show podcast on Pro Wrestling Torch. Told several interesting stories on Monday night, allegedly told him by 3 current WWE creative team writers after a recent night of drinking. Okay, so some dude is saying that he went to a bar, and at that bar were a couple or a few of WWE writers. And these writers proceeded to get super drunk, and he proceeded to get super drunk, and the beans started being spilled. It's just the way it goes. So here's some of the stuff that Mark Middleton summarized for us over at Wrestling Inc. And some of it is so insane. Let me take a gulp of this beer real quick. All right. Let's see here. Regarding WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, the writers allegedly said there is no chance of Vince stepping down. Obviously, the day will come eventually, but it sounds like there is a feeling that Vince isn't stepping down anytime soon. I could have told you that. Maybe once the XFL starts, he might have to be forced to give up a lot of the power, because he's got this huge dream of making something as big as the NFL. He's had it forever. It's a thorn on his side that the first time they did it, it failed, and I understand his ambitions. But they're saying that the writer said that he's not stepping down anytime soon. And the fact that he's the main one controlling everything is making it, and I quote, a toxic atmosphere. And it's all because of one person. And they say it's Vince McMahon. Now, let's keep going with this. Let's keep going with this article. Regarding Vince and WWE Creative, it was said that Vince wants suggestions from everyone, but those suggestions never make it to TV. It was also said that 99 of 100 times you can come up with an idea for Vince, but it won't be used. The writers say that Vince is out of touch. Everybody is saying that Vince is out of touch. One writer claimed, and I quote, Vince just watches WWE and works out and is not aware of things going on in the real world. He barely watches NXT. He maybe watched a couple of the TakeOver specials, and Triple H has indicated in the past that Vince does know what's going on with the black and yellow brand. So people are saying he doesn't watch it. Triple H is saying he does sometimes. Who the fuck knows? If this is all real, that's insane because it's painting a very bleak picture of the backstage morale in that company right now. And when backstage morale reaches an all fucking time low, that breeds opportunity for other companies. AEW, just saying. Now, Real quick, let me scroll down. The writers had praise for Dana Brooke, calling her the hardest worker for the last 3 years. It was noted that Brooke regularly visits the WWE Performance Center in Orlando to work. She shows up early to events, helps set up the ring, and gets in the ring so she can work on her craft. With that said, the writers claim that the creative team will pitch something for Brooke, but she gets nothing from officials. Until her recent Money in the Bank storyline for the women's ladder match on Sunday. So Dana Brooke apparently is being promised hella shit. To me, that's irrelevant. Everybody in the fucking big leagues gets promised hella shit, and it doesn't always happen. That's a nothing to me. So here's a couple of quick notes about it. Below are a few more stories and claims from the call. And here's where it gets fucking crazy. Because it just starts talking all kinds of shit. And like I said, who knows if it's real? We don't know. We're just talking, having discussions here. So here's one. WWE's contract with Fox for SmackDown prohibits Fox from moving the show to Fox Sports 1, even if the ratings drop. Holy shit. That's insane to me. WWE gets all of these networks' panties so moist that they'll do anything to have that fucking show on there. Granted, consistent ratings, even when they're bad, they always seem to even out at one point. It's never bad all the time. So I understand, but dear Lord, SmackDown plummets in the ratings, and usually Fox would be like, well, we're going to have to, demote it to a different show, a lower slot. But nope, not according to this contract. Here's a Neville news that apparently this guy got told. When Neville walked out of the company, there was a crazy shouting match, and Neville flipped out on Vince. That was the last time the writers saw him. The writers praised Neville for being so easy to work with. So Neville had a fucking crazy shouting match with Vince McMahon. I don't know if I believe that one. I mean, fuck. I could understand them being upset, but is Neville really that insane? You get into a shouting match with Vince, it's going to be real hard to get back into that company. And I don't care what anybody says, AEW, New Japan, blah, 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 blah. That's all good and great. However, dear Lord, you want to keep doors open. WWE has proven that it's probably always going to be there. I don't know about everybody else. Anyways, moving on. It was also said that ideas never pan out as originally planned because writers come up with stuff and then Vince loses interest after a week or two. They use Mojo Rawley as an example. The writers said the pay for the job is good, and it's a dream job for many of them, but it gets frustrating. It was also said that talents are very unhappy, and people are trying to get out of their contracts. That we know is true for a fact. Sasha Banks, The Revival, all kinds of fucking people want to leave that company. It's insane. I really don't think since Nitro was starting to take over the fucking wrestling world, WCW was, I think that was the last time I seen everybody so eager to leave. And it's a bit different because when people were leaving WWE and wanting to get out of their contracts to go to WCW, it wasn't because they thought WCW was better. It wasn't because they thought that WCW had belief and had passion for the business. It was because fucking Turner was busting out these giant checks. So everybody wanted the money. And it's a whole different situation now for the WWE. It's a whole scarier situation now for the WWE. Because the wrestlers that are leaving now aren't leaving just for the paychecks. They're not leaving because they're going to get paid fatter than they are in WWE. Even though AEW has a shitload of money. However, they're leaving because they feel that AEW represents something that they love. They feel that AEW reflects their passion to everybody. And that's a scary fucking thought for the WWE. Because when you have guys that are that passionate about the business and have that kind of goals to build something and make it mean something, it gets rough. Because competition becomes fierce. Anywho, let's see here. The writers listen to podcasts and they hear fans bashing them for the weak product, and it breaks their heart. That's what the caller said, apparently. I don't know. Let's see. Let's scroll down because some of these are fucking ridiculous. I don't know if this is true. If this is true, holy fuck. Are you kidding me? There are currently 37 total writers, and they are now working on both Raw and SmackDown. This change went into effect after the 2019 Superstar Shakeup. The entire writing team has pitched to have Raw and SmackDown look completely different, with different production, a different way of filming things, and other differences. But Vince shot the idea. Good job, Vince. Good fucking job. How badass would that have been? Make Raw the same look it's got now. SmackDown look completely different. They were going to film it with different camera angles, different everything. It would have been awesome. It would have been like another NXT. It would have been like 3 separate brands. It would have truly made it stand out. Instead, you look at Raw and you look at SmackDown, and the only difference you see is the freaking color. Red versus blue. That's what you freaking see. Norteños and sureños, right? That's what it seems like. Anyways, besides that, would have been so awesome to have SmackDown be revamped to look completely different with different production, a different way of filming things. But the fact that they have 37 total writers, what the fuck? 37 writers is a lot. And I understand that WWE isn't in the 90s, early 90s anymore, where it was like Vince and Bruce Pritchard and like some other guy and Vince Russo, maybe Jim Cornette. It was like 4 people writing all of the fucking shows week in and week out, writing TV, booking the house shows. We understand WWE has blown the fuck up since then. WWE is a huge, huge company, and it needs a lot of staff. We understand. But fuck, 37 writers split amongst 3 brands? That seems like a lot of fucking people. And when you have that many people working on one thing, heads are bound to collide and ideas are bound to sometimes work out, sometimes not work out. Ideas might tend to start. You put half an angle on TV and then all of a sudden they just drop it out of the blue and you don't know what the hell happened. In my opinion, 37 writers is a bit ridiculous. That's getting insane. Let's see here. Some of the writers believe Road Dogg, BG James will eventually end up in AEW. See, and here's another thing. It was said that NBC Universal and Fox both want top stars on their shows, which was recently reported. The writers loved it when there was a real brand split. I understand that. Wow, this is kind of weird. The Superstar shakeup changed week to week and didn't pan out how it was originally laid out months prior. Everything changed because Vince just decided to change it. The wild card rule was not in the Raw script on the morning of the show it was introduced. Pardon, ladies and gentlemen, I got a sore throat. All this cold beer. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting sick. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know if that's a big deal. WWE I've always heard rumors. I've never been in the back of a WWE show, obviously. But I think everybody is in the know that Raws and SmackDowns change on the constant. They have a long laid out plan, but things change on the fucking constant. From week to week, they change sometimes from the beginning of the show to the end of the show. Things are being changed in the middle of the show. That's just the way the wrestling business is, and quite frankly, that makes it kind of good sometimes. It makes it more random. It doesn't always have to be followed to a fucking T. It's the way it's always been. I don't know why people are bitching about that. This one's completely fucking false. Or maybe it isn't false. I feel it's false, but let's see. Andrade allegedly went into Vince's office and asked for a legit push. Vince allegedly looked at him and said, "Learn some English and get back to me." Andrade has been taking English lessons. Dude, that sounds so fucked up. Vince might as well have thrown coffee on him and tell him to get the fuck out, a la Eric Bischoff and Eddie Guerrero. I mean, holy shit. It sounds rough, but is it rough? I mean, you're trying to get over, and the universal language, not just in the United States, but the world, is English, and people are going to have a hard time relating to you if you can't speak English. And people are like, well, they need Mexican fans, they need more Mexican wrestlers, blah, blah, blah. That's true, and professional wrestling has had great Mexican wrestlers. Look at Eddie Guerrero. Look at Rey Mysterio. The list goes on and on and on. But they had one thing in common. One fucking thing in common. They hella related to the Mexican audience. 1. 2, they spoke Spanish really well. 2. And 3, they also spoke English. I hate to say it, but if you're going to be a Mexican in the WWE, you have to have those 3 things. Learn how to fucking speak Spanish, be very well in tune to what the Hispanic audience likes, and learn fucking English. It's just the way it goes. It's always been like that. So the caller said that the writers told him that the Firefly Funhouse storyline is all Bray Wyatt's idea. That's awesome if it is. They're saying that the writers love him and he's one of the best guys in the locker room. Oh man, the storyline between the Usos and the Revival has been done because Vince just thinks it's funny. That sounds like bullshit. I mean, goddamn, I say it sounds like bullshit, but really? You think the whole icy hot and shaving their back and all that shit is just because Vince thinks it's hilarious and wants to stick it to them because they're leaving or they want to leave? Maybe. I mean, I don't believe it, but hell, I guess the words Vince McMahon had wrestlers kiss his ass, you know, I never thought those words would come out of my mouth, and it happened. So who knows? So then we get into the whole thing where they say Triple H is extremely frustrated with the creative situation. They're saying Triple H is the most frustrated person backstage every single night. He said, the writers told him, supposedly, the most frustrated person in the back every single night is Triple H. He'll always take, especially the NXT guys, under his wing. It looks like he's consoling them. It looks so much like he was the most frustrated person in the building every single night. That's fucking rough. And, you know, that one might be true because there's been some incidents. There's been like 2 incidents already where a fan tweeted something. For example, here's one of the tweets that a fan tweeted. Hey, at Vince McMahon, maybe the problem with Raw and SmackDown ratings isn't due to wrestlers injured. It's that you put confusing and pointless storylines. Although it wouldn't hurt if you gave your wrestlers insurance. Just a thought. And he tagged Stephanie, Triple H, and WWE. And Triple H apparently liked that tweet. And then immediately deleted it. Or took off the like. Then, more recently, a fan wrote, I truly believe that if WWE talent can hang in there till Vince switches to his XFL pipe dream next year, things will actually improve. It's a ways away, but a hard reset plus post-Fox deal growing pains would do wonders in my opinion. And assuming Triple H switches to main roster control. And Triple H liked that too. And then immediately unliked it. However, the person took a screenshot and the proof is there. That could be it, man. The XFL could save the WWE. Believe it or not, the XFL could save the WWE. It might give Vince a different goal to aspire to, seeing as how he has a huge legacy in the professional wrestling business. He can retire today and he's going to go down as the most influential person in professional wrestling history. And it is what it is. It is what it is. The WWE is falling apart. The world's coming to an end. And Vince McMahon is losing his mind. Hey, Vince, I don't think you're losing your mind. Hire me. Hire me to do nothing. Hire me to do nothing but watch your show and watch you make people kiss their ass. But that's just a joke, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It really is pretty crazy. Here was an article that was kind of a follow-up on it, but I don't know if I want to read anything on this. Oh, well, maybe we have to. So it talks about Vince McMahon's workload, which is apparently insane. Let's see here. All right. It says Vince, who turns 74 in August, continues to work a busy schedule with every week. The Observer noted that Mr. McMahon is often in the office past midnight, close to 3 a.m. at least once a week, and Fridays are said to be his easy day at work, but he still works until 8 p.m. then. It was also said that Vince is mostly working and lifting weights while he's at the office, and occasionally watching some football on the weekends. God damn, there is a question of how Vince is going to deal with his WWE duties early next year when the XFL launches. Yeah, obviously. That's insane. He's fucking 74. How you can keep up that type of schedule is beyond me. Now, granted, he's filthy rich, which means he gets access to probably the best medicines, the best healthcare, and, you know, he probably does have an abnormal amount of energy for a 74-year-old. Still, though, with the XFL coming up, there's no fucking way. He's not 20 years old. It's going to be rough. But we'll see what happens. It says, on a related note, the Observer reported that Stephanie McMahon has nothing to do with the creative side of WWE these days. Shane McMahon pitches some ideas for himself, but they rarely get used, and Triple H picks his spots to talk with Vince, but never does it in front of people. Holy shit, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know what to say. I hope everything works out for everybody. And all this fucking tumultuous shit going on in the WWE might actually help out the business a little bit. At the end of the day, to be a strong person, you have to suffer a little bit. You have to get through the suffering. And WWE company is the strongest professional wrestling company in the world. And they're going to have to get through some suffering. And by suffering, I mean all of this creative shit, all of this infighting with everybody, and the fact that they have a company called AEW hot on their fucking heels. Not just with the money and the TV deals, but with the fucking passion and the goals. And you look at these AEW guys, and you look at their eyes, and you just see fire. You see them being sick of being mistreated. You see them sick of having the wrestling business tell them what to do when they're the ones who made the wrestling business. It's crazy. And they themselves aren't excluded from the problems of life, because it was said, let me click on the article real quick. I have it bookmarked because we're going to get straight into AEW right now. Straight into AEW. Here we go. First things first with AEW. Actually, I think we might have talked about this last week. I am not sure. We did. The AEW was $50. We all think it's worth $50. We don't know if wrestling fans are going to shell it out. But here's the kicker. AEW reportedly not receiving rights fees from new TV deal when the company expects to be profitable. So they're not getting rights fees, which means that the TV station doesn't have to pay them to air it. It's more based off of views, is what I'm assuming. So let's see here. It says AEW will reportedly not be receiving any rights fees from their new television deal with Warner Media. While AEW, which will begin airing on TNT later this year, will not be receiving any rights fees, they will be receiving an ad revenue split, according to TSN's John McMullen. Warner Media will also be paying for production. So that's not horrible. That's not horrible at all. And by the way, this article is on Wrestling Inc. and it's by Raj Giri. That doesn't sound too bad, but it does sound like, once again, AEW is taking a huge gamble on themselves. We'll see what happens, because I'm sure the first few shows will draw great, and people will probably watch them a lot. But we'll see what happens after a couple shows to see where it stays at, where it becomes stagnant, if it does. But it's pretty crazy, because look, the article continues. The deal is similar to XFL's new agreements with ESPN and Fox Sports, where the XFL will not receive any rights fees, but the networks will pay for the production costs. However, there is no ad revenue split with the XFL deal, although they will handle sponsorships at the stadiums. Damn, so XFL's gambling with itself also. I mean, the production gets paid for, which is good, but no ad revenue split? God damn. Well, maybe those sponsorships at the stadiums might help, right? Then it says, Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that while AEW will not be receiving rights fees, there will be a downside guarantee with the advertising revenue. Meltzer added that with production costs paid for and the ad revenue split, AEW expects to be profitable by 2020. God damn, that's ambitious. Fuck. 2020 is like a year and a half away. I don't know if it's going to be profitable in that amount of time. God damn. It is what it is, though. You got to give the guys props for having such a huge fucking backbone. Let's see here. Let's read the article a little bit more. McMullen says, remember, it took Vince McMahon nearly 20 years of producing highly rated television before he got a somewhat significant right deals from Viacom at the turn of the century. The Monster deal took over 35 years. Do you see that? And this is what I've been saying every fucking podcast. It took 35 years just for a giant multimedia conglomerate like Viacom to give a fuck about the WWE. 35 years. And before this even happened, WWE was already selling out all over the world. They were already selling out arenas. They were already doing all this crazy shit, and it still took that long just to get noticed. It continues. TNA/Impact once had Hulk Hogan, Sting, and Randy Savage and couldn't get this kind of platform. It's an amazing deal that those in AEW wrestling are ecstatic about. Yeah, I understand. They say they're ecstatic about it because TNT is actually available in slightly more homes than the USA Network, I think. Even though the USA Network's probably watched more. Oh, here it is. It's in the article. TNT is actually available in slightly more homes than the USA Network. Although the USA Network was the 8th most watched network of 2018, while TNT was at number 14. Makes sense, I suppose. Where TNA used to be at, which was Paramount Network, that was number 44, which is way down there. Well, we'll see what happens. Let's see here. I think this is going to be... Oh, actually, I was going to say this is it for the professional wrestling part of the show, but it's not. Because Money in the Bank happened last night. And people are pissed off about Money in the Bank. People enjoyed the matches. Some crazy shit happened, like Bayley winning, cashing in. But here's the one that everybody hated. Brock Lesnar, who wasn't even announced in the main event Money in the Bank match, makes a surprise appearance and wins the match. I mean, I don't know what the fuck what to say. I like Brock Lesnar. I like Brock Lesnar a lot, and I know that Him and the UFC had a falling out where they couldn't come to terms on the money for him to fight Daniel Cormier. So now he's back in the WWE, which is good. I always love to watch him wrestle. But people are pissed about this. People are saying that it was a stupid fucking idea. They could have pushed somebody else. It made no sense. And it seems like that's a Vince McMahon decision. And people are mad. And apparently Chris Jericho decided to take a stab at the WWE for it. He tweeted, at I am Jericho, awesome to see Brock Lesnar win the Money in the Bank match, even though he wasn't officially entered. Brock is the future of the biz and the perfect example of genius booking shows why WWE will remain on top forever. Wow, go Brock go. Hashtag go Brock go. Fuck, that's rough. I mean, it's rough, but hey, it is what it is, right? Chris Jericho's in AEW now. So, who knows? This could be him just taking digs to get more attention to AEW, but in reality, it's probably what everybody feels. It's just the way it goes in these things. So now we can try to end this pro wrestling segment. And how do we usually end these pro wrestling segments? With something called I'm Gonna Snap. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I get comments from either Twitter or wrestling forums or Instagram or any of those places, and I snap. So let's see. This week, I went to WrestlingForum.com and I read a comment on a thread made by a guy named T. Ducey. So let me see if I could find this first. All right. This is what T. Douchebag had to say. He made a whole thread about this shit. Here, let's see if I can find it here. Wow, apparently I am incredibly fucking disorganized. But here, I found it. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I have beer in me. I'll tell you one thing, I didn't smoke weed. Yes, I did. But now I found it. We're back on track here, folks. All right, here we go. I'm going to snap. Pro Wrestling Edition. Went to the forums, WrestlingForum.com. A guy made a thread talking about, has watching wrestling ever stressed you out? Now, actually, it wasn't T. Ducey. It was a guy named Starbreaker. You know what? God damn, I am all over the fucking place here, aren't I, ladies and gentlemen? Here, let me scroll back up on this whole fucking thing. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. It was a guy named Starbreaker. So sorry, T. Ducey. Sorry for almost snapping on you. Starbreaker wrote and made a thread on WrestlingForum.com. Has watching wrestling ever stressed you out? Honestly, I feel like I'm tuning out and slowly losing interest as a whole. Holy fuck, you gotta be kidding me. He's losing interest. See, this is the fucking problem. If wrestling is stressing you out because you love it so much that you want it to be good, but it's not, it means one thing. That you're watching this shit too much. Just because you've been following the industry for a long time doesn't mean you aren't going to eventually need a fucking break, you moron. Especially with this moron, who I guarantee watches New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact, AEW, WWE, probably watches Ring of Honor, and tries to fucking watch it all. From the interviews, to the YouTube shows, to the TV shows. Half the time, it's not even because he fucking enjoys it probably, but because he just wants to be in the know of all this shit so he can stay relevant on the forums. Fuck the internet wrestling community. Take a fucking break, buddy. It'll do you good. Then you'll go back to appreciating it a bit more. Trust me. Take it from experience. You idiot. Take a break, you moron, before you drown in stupidity. Dear Lord. Starbreaker, congratulations. You made me snap. Damn, bro. That felt good. That felt real good. And now, we move on, ladies and gentlemen. I take a deep breath. And we move on to boxing. We move on in between the ropes of boxing. Grab a drink, because we're going to get down right now. Oh, I love boxing. So this weekend, there was a couple of fights. One fight, there was a fight in Europe, and it was Billy Joe Saunders versus Shifat Isufi at Lamex Stadium in Stevenage, England. Now, Billy Joe Saunders is fun to watch. He's always been fun to watch. He makes these fights something to watch, even if it's against somebody whom he's usually the favorite against. Now, Billy Joe Saunders has fought some tough competition, no doubt. Look at Chris Eubank Jr. That alone, it'll tell you. So he's always a talent to look forward to. He had his roadblocks in his career. Some of them were out of his control. Some of them, like the drug test that he failed, were self-indulged fucking problems. And with that being said, his fights always have some sort of buzz around them. Some people say it's because he's buddies with Tyson Fury. I don't know. All I know is this guy always hypes shit up. Hell, the problem with the way he hypes these fights up is I can't figure out. They're more annoying. He hypes them up in an annoying, prickish way instead of a normal grudge match. For example, I mean, what the fuck? When Tyson Fury was going to fight Deontay Wilder, Deontay Wilder had to do press in Europe, all of that good stuff. It came nighttime. He was out of work. He went to go have dinner or lunch or whatever the fuck it was with some of his friends. And Billy Joe Saunders was trying to get into Deontay Wilder's head before that Fury fight. And he crashed Deontay Wilder's meal by running in there with somebody and throwing half a chicken at Wilder before Wilder and his team ran them off in some fucking Twilight Zone type moment. Yes, I said that right. He threw half a fucking chicken at Deontay Wilder. I don't know. Then he had his fucking kid hit a boxer at a stare down. His child got patted on the head by a boxer, and Billy Joe Saunders told him to hit him, and the kid hits a grown adult. Real good parenting. And now he slaps Isufi at the stare down for this fight. Just straight up slaps him with not a care in the world. I personally find those tactics to be a little too much. More annoying than edgy and cool, but hey, it must be doing something right because he's either in the co-main event or in the main event and all these big stadium shows. And this time he was in his hometown and he got, the fans loved him. And he got put in there with somebody who is ranked high, but everybody knew how this was going to go. As usual, Tyson Fury was in attendance. Billy Joe has some controversy from some people due to the failed drug test. And it was an easy fight for Billy Joe. Billy Joe dominated the fight big time. Almost every single round. In the sixth round, he got caught and got wobbled. But it was nothing. I mean, he dominated. Winner by unanimous decision, Billy Joe Saunders. What's next? I don't know. There was talks of Canelo before. Maybe that'll happen. I'd love to see Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo. That would be freaking wonderful. I would love that. Anyways, we're moving on to the big fight. Big fight of the weekend. Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Holy shit. That was a hype. That was a fight that was hyped up. That was a fight that was freaking great. I love that fight. It was hyped up a lot, and people were looking forward to it. It got real personal with, the wives being involved and backstage altercations. The atmosphere was insane in Brooklyn. It usually is for these fucking insane fights. Deontay's entrance was awesome as usual. Gary Russell Jr. had a similar entrance in the co-main. This fight had that huge feeling to it, and it was all due to all the craziness leading up to it. Deontay Wilder does what we all love, wins in devastating fashion. Fuck, that guy is scary. Right hook to the jaw, and it's all she wrote, folks. Winner by knockout, round 1, Deontay Wilder. And after this, there's fights that everybody wants to see. The Fury rematch, the Joshua rematch. We don't know if it's going to happen. I was reading on the internet earlier today to catch up on some stuff that they mentioned who he might fight next, and it's not either of those guys. So we'll see what happens. Supposedly he has 3 guys that he has planned to fight before the end of the year. And at the end of the year, he might have the rematch with Wilder. I don't know. All I know is sometimes you have to be patient in the sport of boxing, as the Bronze Bomber has said, because it's just the way it goes. Contracts, people want money. But these fights will happen. I believe these fights will happen. It's just, we have to do what we've been doing for years, boxing fans, including myself. What we've been doing for years, which is we constantly have to let it marinate. To fucking quote Oscar de la Hoya, sometimes I don't want to let it marinate. Sometimes I just want to urinate on it and hope it happens quickly. But we'll see what happens. And here's the crazy part. We were talking about all that controversy leading up to the fucking fight. Well, this was a quick boxing segment. It's a quick one this week. But we're going straight into I'm Gonna Snap. Because during the build-up to this fight, Deontay Wilder said some crazy shit. Crazy shit that made him out to look like a murderer. And I'm sorry, but it was great. I saw nothing wrong with what he said. He was just hyping the fight. And maybe at that moment, that's what he felt. He's about to go in there with a man who's trying to knock him unconscious. A man that's trying to separate his consciousness from his body. What do you think? He's supposed to go in there nicely? It's rough, folks. So here's some of the stuff he said, which is pretty freaking insane. Here's one of the ones that started it off. I'm going to try to play this audio clip for you. And that way you can see and make your own judgment to see if you want to think it's wrong or right. Here we go.
That's the. I really do. Like
you want.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You gotta go in there and do your business. Like you ever
like I don't want to kill
pull
somebody
back
for
a
few
little bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Mm-hmm.
I want one.
God
No,
damn.
you don't.
I want one. I want one. I really do. Like
You want to be Ivan Drago?
That's the.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, but that's the Bronze Bomber. Like he want one. You know what I mean? I always tell people like when I'm in the ring, like I am the Bronze Bomber. Like and with him, like it's so crazy. Cause when I describe it, like I be having moments. Like it's so crazy. Like when people, it's crazy because when I'm in the Bronze Bomber, like I don't really care. Like
When I'm the Bronze Bomber, I don't really care. And he wants a body on his record. Holy fuck. How is this man not more popular? Isn't this what fucking society wants, right? Isn't this what everybody loves? Isn't this what everybody loves? Hyping up shit like this. I hear everybody bitch and complain that everybody shows too much respect nowadays. Someone does something like this, and people end up getting pissed off. So we're going to play another clip that he was talking about Brazil, and people were pissed off once again. And give me 1 second here. I'll cue this up. Man, this guy's crazy. He's exactly what boxing needs. He's a real character. All right, let's see here. All right, here we go.
Hey, Dominique Brazil asked for this. I didn't go seek him, he seeked me. So if it comes, it comes. This is a brutal sport. This is not a gentleman's sport. I keep saying this is not a gentleman's sport. We don't ask to hit each other in the face, but we does anyway. And you can ask any doctor around the world, and he'll tell you the head is not meant to be hit. Anybody can go. And on this particular time, we have bad blood against each other. This is the only sport where you can kill a man and get paid for it at the same time. It's legal. So why not use my right to do so?
Holy shit. This is the only sport where you can kill a man and it's legal. So why not use my right to do so? Man, this guy's awesome. And here's where the I'm Gonna Snap segment comes in. After those comments, Deontay Wilder is going to be talked about. Deontay Wilder, the WBC is going to have to talk personally with Deontay Wilder, according to Mauricio Suleiman, because of the comments that he has made. I mean, holy fuck. Really? Now, I'm hoping here that this is the WBC just trying to calm the folks down so they don't get too much heat. Because what the fuck are you doing? There better not be a fee for this shit. Because it was talk like that got everybody into the Barclays Center. It was talks like that got all those eyeballs on fucking Showtime. How dare you even bring up the fact that there might be a fine? That is beyond ridiculous. Here's Mauricio Suleiman. Here's what he had to say on Twitter. I have seen Deontay Wilder's comments, which are regrettable and completely against the spirit of our sport. I have known Wilder for a long time, and he is not the person he portrays in such comments. His metaphors are against the WBC Code of Ethics, and will be addressed in a hearing. It'll be addressed in a hearing because it's against the Code of Ethics. It says Mauricio Suleiman. Good job, buddy. It's against ethics, but yet we want to see these guys bash their faces in. And we get mad when they don't, and they get paid less when they don't. You want eyeballs to show up and watch, and you have all the fans fucking groomed to love trash talking, but when someone does it right, you don't like it. Mauricio Suleiman, go fuck yourself. WBC, stop being fucking so goddamn sensitive. It's 2019. Boxing, a fucking sport where you're punching each other in the face, doesn't need a safe space. Mauricio Suleiman, congratulations. You made me snap. Dang, ladies and gentlemen. Insanity, no? Insanity. And we move from the insanity of boxing to the insanity of mixed martial arts. Here's what I gotta say about mixed martial arts. We had a pretty damn good announcement recently. Fucking insane announcement. Nate Diaz versus Anthony Pettis announced for UFC 241 in August. All I can say is holy fuck. Thanks, Odin, for this one. These guys don't like each other at all. It's been years that these guys have had heat with one another. Since a long fucking time ago. Here, I found an article over at MMA Junkie by Mike Bone. And it goes into detail about some of the fucking... Why this is such a grudge match. Here, let me see if I can... Here we go. So, it's one of those things where at one point there was some issues in the back. Here, hold on. I got the wrong fucking article again. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Marijuana is not healthy for my brain, is it? Yes, it is. It cures cancer, though. All right, here we go. So here's an incident that happened. I don't know if this is the incident that started it all. All I know is that Nate Diaz did talk a little bit of shit of Anthony Pettis at a time when Anthony Pettis was getting a big, giant push. But here, let me read this article. This article I got off of MMA Mania by Adam Guillen Jr. And let's see what happens. This was like a while ago when all this stuff happens. Like I said, it dates back years. Here we go. This is what Anthony Pettis says. I think Twitter made this scuffle out bigger than it really was. One of Nick Diaz's friends, I was taking a picture with a fan. Diaz's friend had something to say. My family don't play. Their family don't play. Drinks got thrown. Security came. Me and Nick Diaz never had a confrontation together. I think Twitter blew it up a little more than it was. So they already had fucked up conversations. They already had brawls in the back, I guess you could say. And they don't like each other. For the what's his face? Anthony Pettis showed up on Ariel Helwani's MMA show and just fucking sounded completely different than what we're used to hearing. Says he doesn't like Diaz. Says he wants to beat Diaz. He doesn't get along with him. And for the first time, he's motivated to hurt somebody instead of being motivated just to show his skill. And that's awesome, in my opinion. Good for him. Anthony Pettis has been around the game for a very long time. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he was on Sports Illustrated at one point. He was close to being the face of the UFC, and then he kind of went on a little skid. You know, it is what it is. So that fight will be at UFC 241 in August, and I think it's in California, so it should be badass. And here we go. Next thing, UFC had a show this weekend. UFC Fight Night 152 on ESPN. Dos Anjos versus Lee at the Blue Cross Arena from Rochester, New York. And fuck, New York gets all the good shit. Boxing, MMA, they get everything. Let's see here. Here's one that hurt me and broke my heart. Megan Anderson versus Felicia Spencer. Boo! Boo, I say. Damn, Megan Anderson takes a loss on this one. That sucks. It really sucks. Life sucks, and then you die kind of sucks. I love Megan Anderson. She's so into the game of MMA and is such a fucking hard worker. You can see her passion for this shit bleed through. She waits for no one to give her shit, has her own videos that she posts, is active on social media, and could possibly have a country behind her one day in Australia. It's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. But girls like her don't stop. And Australia, unlike the United States, and I love the United States, I'm not talking shit, but the cultures are way different here than over there when it comes to combat sports. But Australia probably respects its athletes a little more after a loss. I feel they give people more chances. Here in the U.S., people seem not give a fuck at all about you after losses. They kind of revel in it sometimes. It's weird. Even if it's a guy that's from the United States. Other countries tend to corral more around their athletes. But all in all, Megan is going to be given more chances. It's not like that's it for her in the MMA game. God, she's hot. I mean, we have to say it. I'm a man. I can't help it. She has the legs of a goddess. The only other chick with legs like that is probably Holly Holm. God damn, those are two beautiful women. Sorry, not to go on a tangent, but Megan and Holly have my heart. But seriously, credit to Felicia. Girl was not intimidated at all by Megan's fucking giant ass. Winner by choke, Felicia Spencer. Then we moved on to the main event. Let's see here. The main event was Rafael Dos Anjos versus Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee's a soldier. Rafael Dos Anjos is a soldier. This was supposed to be a really good match, and it was. It was a great match for RDA. And quite frankly, Rafael Dos Anjos is a goddamn inspiration. He had a long, successful run at 155 pounds, fought the who's who of that division, and then MMA started going bad on him a little bit. He lost 2 in a row to Tony Ferguson and Eddie Alvarez. And as usual, the MMA fans, who are fickle as fuck, started calling for him to retire, started saying that with USADA in the picture, he doesn't have it anymore, even though he never failed a test. And I guess it's impossible for him to have looked different because of age and the fact that he's been playing punch face for years of his life. It's impossible to think he might have been in a rut in his career and his motivation to train as hard wasn't the same, but I digress. So he says, fuck everyone, and goes to 170 pounds, which is a tall task. And all of a sudden, he starts winning again. Tarek Saffiedine, boom. Neil Magny, boom. An insane maniac we all know and love as Robbie Lawler, boom. He made it all the way to championship fight, which is truly great for someone who is much smaller than everyone in the division. You can see the size difference. 170-pound division with guys coming in on fight night almost at 200 pounds. Come on, let's face it. If you're in the 170-pound division, most of these guys weigh in the 190s or maybe even more and just cut a shitload of weight. So Dos Anjos goes up. He drops the championship fight with Colby Covington and then drops another fight to Kamaru Usman. Comes back and looks insanely badass and revitalized against Kevin Lee. I hope the RDA train doesn't fucking stop anytime soon. The man is a true role model. Winner by arm triangle, round 4, Rafael Dos Anjos. Booyah! So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to the dirt sheets of MMA real quick. I should have gone to the dirt sheets of pro wrestling and the dirt sheets of boxing, but I completely forgot. But we're not going to skip it on this one. Maybe I might have missed something. Oh, dear God. Oh, my God. This did not just fucking happen. Oh, my... Holy shit. I need my pen. And by pen, I mean my marijuana pen. This is... Are you fucking joking? So, apparently, on the MMA dirt sheets, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is back in the news. And I gotta fucking say it. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship gives off this old school UFC vibe, even though it's just boxing. But holy shit. So it's been no it's been no secret that Paulie Malignaggi is going to be fighting Artem Lobov in bare knuckle boxing. It's been insane. Paulie Malignaggi has slapped Artem Lobov, talked all kinds of shit. Then Artem Lobov ended up going into a fight with, I can't remember exactly who he fought. I know it was someone that used to be in the UFC. Fuck, I forgot. I'm having a brain fart at the moment. But, so he won that fight in an insanely brutal manner. His face was all cut up. His fists were so swollen that they looked like boxing gloves. And apparently, I come to the dirt sheets over at MMAfighting.com. And the headline reads, Paulie Malignaggi spits at Artem Lobov at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship press conference. Holy fuck. Paulie Malignaggi is fucking pissed. Paulie Malignaggi apparently hates everything that has to do with Conor McGregor. And can you blame him? He went over to help Conor McGregor spar so he can train for his match against Floyd Mayweather. Conor McGregor filmed it and put out the video, and it shows Paulie. And granted, it was an out-of-shape Paulie. Very out-of-shape Paulie. Straight off the airplane. Hours on end across from the United States to Ireland. And it shows Paulie getting whooped a little bit. He's been getting hit. It shows him being shoved or knocked down. I couldn't really tell from the video. And ever since then, Paulie Malignaggi feels like the McGregor clan has fucked him and used him to further their agenda. And Paulie doesn't seem like the type of guy that likes that shit. So he went public with it and told everybody how much he fucking hates them, how much they're garbage. And the one thing he said that McGregor has not done yet, which makes this whole thing crazy, is the fact that Conor McGregor never put out the whole footage of the thing, just highlights. The whole fight that they had in that sparring session was never put out online. It was just those clips. And that was a problem. So now it's going to be Artem Lobov and Paulie Malignaggi. And Paulie Malignaggi is a world-class boxer, as we've said here before. He's been in sold-out arenas. He's fought for championships. The list goes on. And now he's going to fight Artem Lobov in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And it's going as far as spitting in his face. And I'm looking at this freaking little clip that MMA Fighting has on their Twitter of this stuff. And it shows Paulie Malignaggi reaching across the fucking podium. Holy shit, what? This isn't fucking insane. I'm starting to feel bad for Artem Lobov. I'm starting to feel fucking horrible for Artem Lobov. So apparently, Paulie Malignaggi slaps him, spits on him, slaps him a few months ago, spits on him at this press conference, then grabs the mic and smashes it on his head? Holy fuck. And Artem Lobov really can't do nothing. He just kind of stands there and is like, what am I supposed to do? You hit me, and then like 4 or 5 guys got in the way. Holy shit. I'll tell you what, it's kind of fucked up, but this is going to bring in some money. You have to fucking realize it's going to bring in some money. Paulie Malignaggi works for Showtime also. He's going to blow this shit up 100%. Holy crap. Here's another headline that's pretty cool by Guillermo Cruz at MMAfighting.com. Yoshihiro Akiyama's one championship debut set for June. That guy's cool. That guy's always cool as fuck. He had a really, really bad outing in the UFC, but he was a shit. I've always liked that guy. His Pride fights were good. Anyways, let's see if we can keep going here for a little bit. That's about it. I know one championship had an event this weekend. Gary Tonin did a crazy-ass leg lock, #jiu-jitsu on that one. That was pretty fucking sweet. It's the one thing I remember about this weekend the most, more than Deontay Wilder's knockout, more than Brock Lesnar and Money in the Bank, more than UFC and Dos Anjos. I remember that leg lock. That was pretty fucking awesome. Also, let's see if I can pull up the results of this shit. Because it was one Enter the Dragon, I know that much. And it was Gary Tonin won that fight by leg lock. Here, let's see. I'm going to go to their website. Yup, you can hear the keyboard. Does it annoy you guys? Does it annoy you, the keyboard, the clickety-clack keyboard? Here we go. It was a pretty interesting night. I can't remember where here they go. They had it in Singapore, at the Singapore Indoor Stadium. The undercard had, as I said, Gary Tonin defeated Yoshiki Nakahara via submission, heel hook in round 1. That was one fight that stuck out in my mind. Then another fight that was pretty freaking crazy. Well, not crazy, just surprise ending. Christian Lee, which I think is the brother of Angela Lee, defeated Shinya Aoki via TKO in round 2. Now I think he's a champion along with his sister, which is insane. They had a whole kickboxing tournament with some bad motherfuckers like Nikki Holtzkin, fucking Giorgio Petrosian. Sorry if I'm butchering the names. But the one thing that stood out to me, and here's where the segment starts, ladies and gentlemen. The final segment of the show, I'm Gonna Snap, Mixed Martial Arts Edition. Sage Northcutt. Sage Northcutt, holy shit, was making his debut for one championship. And his face broke. His face broke in a very, very fucked up way. He was fighting, Cosmo Alexandra. They were in a ring, not a octagon, which some people say that has something to do with it, but Sage had his hands down, and at one point, Cosmo Alexandra just fucking drilled him right in the eye. Drilled him in the fucking eye to the point where Sage Northcutt had to undergo 9-hour surgery for 8 fractures on his face and a broken orbital bone. Think about that shit. How fucking painful was that? Dear Lord. And he still had to sit there. Sage Northcutt still had to sit there until fucking they announced the winner of the match, Cosmo Alexandra. It's freaking pretty crazy. And here's the part where I'm going to fucking snap. Because people are fucking just garbage. Pure fucking garbage. I went to mixedmartialarts.com and I went to the underground forums. And there's a guy called MM and then the number 8. And he wrote, according to this, at least that stupid smile is off his face. Wow. What a piece of shit. At least that stupid smile is off his face. Why are you angry, fuckface? Huh? Because he smiles? Because he doesn't hate his life like you? Let me guess, you're either broke as fuck and you're useless, or you're rich as fuck and miserable. You're a fucking jealous piece of shit guy. Why would you even say that on an MMA forum? And it makes me laugh because the reason why he says it is because it's anonymous. Sometimes I wish we had to put our fucking picture up on these things. That way everybody knows what fuckface is the one who wrote that. MM8, you know what? I don't have the energy for you. Congratulations. You made me snap. You piece of shit. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, with the last words of the podcast being, you piece of shit, I will bid you adieu. I'm Abe, the co-host of Have Fun on the Indies. Catch us at Have Fun OTI, and we'll see you next time. Have fun on the Indies.